Shalom Aleichem, everybody, and welcome to Bochein La'ira Online Smicha. I want to discuss an interesting shiloh that I saw lately. You know, there are different things that people wear to make it easier on themselves to carry. And there is also something, some people call the kangaroo pocket, some people call it the sling, baby sling, which many women wear. So, and when they carry the baby, it's in the front of them. It holds the baby, which is a good thing in general. The question I saw somebody asking: could a man wear one of those with the baby inside and come to shul and daven holding the baby? I'm davening and hold the baby. Is that something which is an issue? To hold a baby in a pocket while you're davening. So let's start with Siman Tzadik Vav in the Shulchan Aruch, where the Alter Rebbe says, Kishehu mispalo, when somebody davens, he has to be full concentration in davening. And therefore, lo yechayz biyodai, while you're davening, you shouldn't hold in your hands tefillin or sefer mikisri hakodesh or anything a holy, very holy book. V'loi kaira malea, not a bowl full of stuff. V'loi sakin, not a knife. V'loi mois, and not money. V'loi kikar. And he says a list of things that a person should not hold in his hand when he is davening. Why? Mipnei shaliboy aleim, because your focus, these items are too precious for you. And you're worried, shalayipo, you don't want them to fall on the ground. V'yitrad, v'tisbatel kavanasi, if they fall, then they're going to ruin his, he won't have proper kavanah. So these are items that he shouldn't hold in his hand. Avo sha'ar dvarim, holding other items, which she'im yupailu, if they fall, loy yifsidu v'loy yaziku loy, if they fall, they won't get ruined. And if they fall, they won't hurt his foot. Mutar lechais min adin. According to the dry letter of the law, those are items you're allowed to hold while you're davening. Elo, nevertheless, even other items, even not delicate or hurtful items, even they, mitzvah min amufchar shalei lechais klum. It's best that when you daven, you shouldn't be holding anything in your hand. You yodav kufutim, your hands should be put down because you are standing now in front of the king. And when you're standing in the king, you're not juggling anything in your hand. You don't wiggle anything in your hand. When you stand in your king, you stand in attention. And therefore, if you pay attention to what he just said, he gave two separate reasons not to hold things in your hand. One reason not to hold something in your hand is because you lose your concentration. The item might fall. The second reason why not to hold it, because this is not the way to stand in front of a king. Now, these two reasons are really two reasons. And the difference between the two reasons is, does it apply specifically in the list of items that he says you shouldn't hold? You know, a tefillin, a knife, because those are things you don't want to fall. So your mind is on what you're holding. Or does it apply in any item? This is a big machlekes in the Gemara in Sukkah, Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis. Rashi says it only applies by these items, because Rashi takes the way of understanding not to hold things because your mind will be focused on this and not on that. Rabbeinu Yoina says nothing should be held in your hand because this is not the way you daven in front of a king. So the question is, how about having a child wrapped around you in this pocket, in the sack pocket? Would that be allowed? So this will also be part of this discussion. Is the problem that you're worried about it falling? You're not worried about it falling. It's wrapped around. If it's because of a lack of respect, then even a kid, you don't go to a wedding, you don't go to a king's palace holding a kid wrapped in front of you. Now, that is what the Mefarshim say. However, it could be that holding a kid might even be worse than holding just anything else. Why? Because in Shulchan Aruch and Siman Tzadik Zayin talks about carrying weights. He says if you're carrying weights when you're davening, it's preferably that you should put it aside before you're davening. So because it definitely ruins your kavanah. So because a child definitely weighs more than the amount of weight the halacha allows you to carry when you're davening. So it's the weight issue that you shouldn't. And then there is another issue. It's known that it says in Shulchan Aruch that b'chlal, of course, it's a good thing to educate your kids to come to school, to shul. But little kids that very, very often could interrupt shul, kids at a very, very young age could interrupt. And if you're going to be davening in front of the king, and the kid is going to start crying, there is another reason why it shouldn't be done. So this is the discussion if you're allowed to daven holding a kid wrapped around in front of you.